Hello to the management of JPTS. I am Adenaka Blessing Okoyemi. I'm in the healthcare management stroke nursing department. I'm in the 300 level first semester, attending JPTS Center at Abeokuta, Ogun State. So we have been asked to talk on a general term paper topic by President Professor Chris Mimole on the comprehensive study of earthquake detection mechanism and remedial. First of all, for we to understand and comprehend what the detail of what this study is all about, what was an earthquake? Virtually, we will know that we must have seen or experienced one. If you have not experienced, you must have seen it in television or movie. The earthquake is an intense shaking of the earth's surface. You see when earthquake happen, building collapse, several things, anything on the surface of the earth will always go down because it will shake the earth, it will move the earth. Another definition is the sudden release of strain energy in the earth's crust. So earthquake can occur anywhere, but they occur mainly along 40 days. So this earthquake that we are talking about, so what's the causes? What's making earthquake to happen? If you check my term paper that I did, I wrote about 5 reasons. So I'll be stating those 5 reasons. Now one of them is plate tectonics. That's the slipping of land along the fault line. Convergent, divergent, and transform boundary causes earthquake. The second is volcanic activity. Volcano something when there's volcanic eruption. Those places where there's volcano and stuff like that. So when there's volcanic eruption and it evokes into the earth, it can cause the shaking of earth and it can cause earthquake. Those are the things that come human-induced earthquake. As the name implies, human-induced. So these are human. Human are the one that cause the earthquake to happen, and some of the human activities that cause earthquake to happen are like mining. People will be digging the ground to look for oil or any precious stuffs like that. So it could lead to the sudden shaking of the earth, and it could result to earthquake and large scale petrol extraction, stuff like that. Nuclear tests where they want to do, maybe they are creating a bomb and they want to test it somewhere. It could affect the surface area of the test, which will lead to earthquake. Fault zones, the immediate cause of shallow earth cases, the sudden release of stress. There are important things to note about earthquake. Earthquake can occur anywhere between the earth's surface and 700 meters below the surface. 700 meters below the surface can occur. For scientific purpose, the earthquake depth of 0 to 7 is divided into 3 zones. Earthquake is divided into 3 zones: the shallow, intermediate, and deep. The shallow is the one that does not really have effect much, but the deep one has strong effect. So you need to take note of that, and they have different depths. The shallow is 0 to 70 kilometer depth. The intermediate is about 7 to 300 kilometer deep, while the deep earthquake is 300 to 700 kilometer deep. So how can we detect, as the study, as what we are looking at, how can we detect earthquake? The instrumental skills used to describe the size of began with Hurricane Matthew. Every earthquake produced different types of seismic wave. Seismic wave is the wave that is produced when earthquake happens, so which travels through rock with different velocities. There are longitudinal B waves, transverse longitudinal two waves, and surface waves. So how do we forecast? Generally, it is proven that we can't predict earthquake, but we can forecast it. So how can we forecast earthquake? Number one is unusual animal behavior. It has been research has been made that animals have a kind of eye sensitive attitudes. They have higher sensory perception than humans. They have better power of senses like sniffing, hearing, seeing, and senses. So when we notice um, an abnormality in animal behavior, it could help in the forecast of an earthquake. In China, they noticed an abnormality in the animal behavior, and which helped them to predict that we could take preventive measure towards the earthquake, and it worked. Temperature change. When there's a change in the temperature, when the temperature rises in a place rises above between 30 degrees to 53 degrees Celsius, you should be aware that earthquake will occur. Water level. When there's drastic change in the water level, those who dig well and stuff like that, when you see that the water level in the well has a drastic change, you should be aware an earthquake could result into that. So there's what we call radon gas. It's a radioactive gas which is discharged from rock masses prior to earthquake. So the last but not the least, or okay, not the last, how do we stop or avert earthquake from happening through a stochastic model? Yes, as the topic, as one of the things you should write down in the term paper as it was stated. Firstly, what's the stochastic model? A stochastic model is a form of a form of model that is used to forecast of the probability of various outcomes under different conditions. So this stochastic model can be used to forecast or prove probability of how whether earthquake will happen or not, the chances of which earthquake will happen. So what are the steps you use on how to use the stochastic model to help avert earthquake? One is create the sample of earthquake. Go to a place where earthquake have happened, create a sample of it, a list of the possible outcomes of how that earthquake happened. Assign probabilities to the sample earthquake elements. Identify the earthquake of interest. Calculate the probability. You have to look for a mathematician to able to calculate after stating the fact, after bringing the element, after bringing the samples. Look for a mathematician to calculate the probability of how the earthquake will happen. I hope I've been able to convince and I've been state my points. Thank you.